Hey guys, thank you so much for stopping by the garden today. I want to do a little video for you on my aloe plants because they're starting to really grow and get big indoors. So these I grow indoors in direct sunlight, bright light, and no direct sun. Aloe does not need direct sun to thrive and be healthy. They're great indoor plants. They filter out a bunch of bad stuff in the environment and produce nice healthy oxygen for us. They also are used to put on your skin, but when you cut these, you need to let a liquid drain out of them. Usually there's like a yellow liquid in here. Whenever you break your aloe and you're ready to use it, you want to let that yellowish liquid run out first, because that's like a little poison that's inside the aloe. So you really shouldn't put this directly on your skin. Some people do, but I just kind of wait till that stuff leaks out onto a dish, and then I use what's inside after I wash it off. We'll do that once we do cut some aloe here. This way I can show you guys how exactly I cut and use my aloe fresh from the garden. But today we're going to transplant them because I really want to combine them together. These are little babies that have gotten really big right here on the right, and we're ready to be transplanted. You know, you can leave aloes in a small pot for quite a long time, but this is getting really top heavy, and that's probably the reason you would want to transplant first, other than, you know, the big root system that they're going to have. So what I'm going to do is combine these two aloe plants that we have here. You can see this is another aloe growing really good. I'm not sure, I think they're the same kind. They're pretty much the same kind of aloes. They're just regular aloe plants. And then I have other aloes inside, which we're going to do a video on also in the next couple days, and we're going to transplant those in their own separate pot together. So today I figured, instead of having 3 separate pots with the same aloes, and I have to transplant this little guy anyway, I figured why not put them all in this big container, because this aloe's been growing indoors as well, and we have a lot of soil here on the side. You can see I add a lot of perlite in my soil, especially growing indoors. So we're going to take this guy out, and then we're going to put 3 of them in here. I love transplanting my plants in 3s just because I feel like it's a real lucky number. Odd numbers I feel are better. They look prettier than an even number for your arrangements, for any type of succulent arrangement. Now for aloes, they really don't require much care, much water. Watering maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks. As soon as these bottom leaves feel a little deflated, which they do, this one's a little deflated, so I can squeeze this and it doesn't feel overwatered. It's underwatered and it's actually coming off, see? So that was ready to go anyway. And we have another one back here that's pretty deflated too, but he's not ready to come off yet. And then these middle ones should feel really nice and plump. So that's how you know it's time to water. And when you water, you want to soak your pot all the way through. Let it dry out completely. The bigger the pot you have, the longer it's going to take to dry out. So just let it stay dry for a few days between the waterings and you're good to go. Now we're going to take this little guy out. I want to take them all out for you, but it's really hard to do one-handed, so we're just going to show you how we do this. You always want to squeeze the sides of your pots. Now if you're in a terracotta pot or a stone-tight pot or a hard plastic pot where you can't squeeze it, then you know, just try to bang the pot around a little bit to loosen up the soil, and then you can go ahead and pull it out, or you can take a knife and go on the sides of your pot to lift it out, you know, without disturbing root systems. You can go on the side, lift up, keep going around, and then you should be able to pull that plant right out of there with no problem. Now I make sure my soil is completely dry before I go ahead and transplant anything. You can see we had a lot of perlite in there, so we have a lot of healthy roots. This is going to need a lot of water in a few days just because I can feel that these roots are pretty dry. So we're going to put it in here with that little guy. We're going to make a little hole, and then we're going to, actually, you know what, I'm not going to take this one out because it's kind of pointing towards that side anyway. I centered it. So instead of taking this whole arrangement apart, I'm just going to let these little gals and guys fill in by themselves exactly like this. So wait till your soil is all the way dry. Now I watered a few days ago because we want to make sure they're nice and plump before we go ahead and, you know, transplant them. And then you want to let that soil dry out completely before you go ahead and take them out of the pot. And that's going to just help you avoid any root rot that starts to happen. Sometimes when succulents are wet and you go and move the roots around a lot, they can get overwatered and start rotting out. So we put that little guy in there, and we're going to stabilize him with some more soil on top. So we have him there. We're going to put this other, maybe we're going to have to take this out. We're going to have to take this out, you guys, because this big guy is not going to fit in there. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead, push the sides of this, and he should pop right out. Like, see? He didn't even have a root system on him hardly in this big pot. So we're going to do just fine with these 3 little guys in this pot right here. I'm going to do the same thing to this, get it out, kind of place them, and then show you guys how to backfill the pot and finish it off with some fresh potting soil, and I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so I took this little succulent, this big one actually, the biggest one we have here, out of the pot, and look at the root system. So see, succulents really don't have much of a root system on them, even though they're huge. So that's why you can grow a bunch of succulents in a container by themselves. You know, you can showcase them individually. You just want to make sure they're not getting lost like that one was. You know, planting them together when they're this small is just great to do. You know, they'll last for you. You don't got to worry about transplanting. You don't got to worry about them being overwatered because there's quite a few in here. We're just going to place these in 3s, just like this. And then we're going to backfill our soil up. So, let's place that little guy there. And this little guy, we're going to have to wait to put in because he's really small. So let's get our soil. We're going to utilize our old soil since they really like that old soil they were in. And it's still pretty fresh. And then we're going to just fill in with some nice fresh succulent soil to get some nice fresh nutrients in there. Some nice sandy nutrients for succulents. And I use a Miracle Grow potting soil for succulents, cacti, citrus, and palm, which we'll get to in just a moment. Go ahead, snuggle these little fellas in here. And then we'll just backfill. Any little leaves like this that are about to fall off, just go ahead and take off. We're not going to water this arrangement right away. You definitely don't want to water your arrangements right away after your transplant. Wait like a few days, especially for bigger ones. They might take a little bit more time to callus and heal over. Callus just means any ends, any roots that were exposed during the transplant. Now you want to make sure they're not going to get overwatered, and if you water your arrangement right away, sometimes that can happen, and that's just no good. So now that we got our nice little succulents transplanted in this container, we're going to put it in the house. After we're done, we're going to backfill with some soil here though. So we have our Miracle Grow potting soil for succulents, cactus, palm, and citrus. And I love utilizing this soil so much. Just works great throughout my whole garden for succulents, cacti. I use it for my Dracaenias. I mix a little in there. I make my own potting soil with Dracaenias and let me see, what's the other one I'm thinking of? Walking irises, I make my own. Bromeliads, I make my own. And a lot of that has the cactus soil in it just because it's such a universal potting soil for things that require a little sandier soil. My Hawaiian plant is in there, so my anthurium is in like a part succulent soil, part burpee soil, and part wood chips. So you can definitely utilize this succulent soil for a lot more things around the garden, which is why I like to go with potting soil that you can use for different plants. You know, you're not wasting money, you're utilizing everything you're buying, and you don't have a bunch of soil sitting around that you can't use for other plants as well. And that's it, you guys. You know, that's how to transplant these. So easy. Just try to be really delicate that you don't damage those roots. Wait to water for about 3 more days. You can put it right in the sun that it was in, which is indirect but bright light for these aloes. Any type of aloe you're growing really just requires a bright light. It doesn't require direct sun. They'll actually turn a different color. They'll start getting black instead of this nice green color. So if your aloes are getting black in color, it means that they're probably getting too much sun and you have to back off just a little bit. Now when you plant these, let me take this guy out because I want to show you something. When you plant these, you only want to plant up to here. You don't want to drop these leaves, any of these leaves right here, under the soil. So transplant till you reach that stem right here where my thumb's at. That is where you want it sticking out. You don't want to bury it up to here, because then you'll rot the center of the succulent out and those leaves. So definitely bury it, only up to that point, and then you're good to go. We're going to snuggle this in here with one hand and make him stay nice and snuggled in. Backfill with some soil. And that's it, you guys. That is how you make a nice little succulent arrangement out of your aloe plants. If you need any help, let me know. I'm always here for you, and I love helping you transplant your plants, or just to make an arrangement out of your aloes if that's what you choose to do with them. We're going to go ahead, straighten this out a little bit with two hands, and I'll be right back to show you guys the finished result. Alright, you guys, so we got done stabilizing our plants, and as you can see, we didn't bury the bottoms more than they had to be, and we're done. That is how easy it is to transplant your little aloes. You can see how I buried it just up to that stalk. The stalk is right underneath this leaf, and even then, like, you can move a little of that soil away. I just know that they're going to topple over if I do that, so I'm trying to stabilize them a little bit. But as long as you're not covering that bottom leaf and those nodes where they cross over, your plant will be fine and good to go. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Remember, they don't require any direct sun, very little waterings. When they need water, they will get a little deflated on their very bottom leaves, and then you can go ahead and give them a little water. We're going to put them back inside. They're great to grow indoors, just in that bright light. They don't really need to be by a window. As long as you're getting really, really bright light in that house, they will be just fine and happy for you. If you need any help, let me know. Please comment below. Give me a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this video, hit that gray notification bell if you want to stay updated every time we post a new video here from the garden. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.